What's going on today, guys? I am at RGR Motorsports here in Cumming, Georgia, and I am here to test ride this 2017 Alta Supermoto. Now, I know there's a little bit more description to the actual name itself, but this is, in a nutshell, the street-legal Supermoto electric bike from Alta. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with anything and everything on social media, you know, Andy DeBrino has been absolutely tearing it up on one of these, and I thought it was an MX bike, but actually, he'd done some media stuff for their Supermoto as well. Well, how have I not known about this bike? And it's such a newer bike, a newer make, that not a lot of people carry them, and RGR is one of the few here in the metro Atlanta area that has this bike. So it's got Warp 9 wheels on it. You know, they're 17-inch wheels. It's got a big old Brembo 4-piston brake caliper up front. From my understanding, this thing is going to stop on a dime. Here's your battery pack, your generators in here, and it spins this, that makes that spin. In a nutshell, WP suspension front and rear. This is everything a Supermoto was pretty much meant to be, just with a battery. You've got the charging port here, so you commute to work, plug it up, get you a good charge. From my understanding, you get a full charge on 6 hours of charging, and you get 30 miles and or 2.5 hours of use, depending on the map. So not too sure how that is, but we're going to give it a go. And oh god, this is tall. Whew. She's a tall one, but she's soft though. That or my jeans are getting tighter. So you've got this key here. The only thing I don't really care for right off the bat is this cheap key. Seems like it could break in the ignition. So here's your kill switch, like a normal bike. Put it on, and then you start it. This will light up green, and she's ready to go. So it'll flash green, let you know it's ready, and from my understanding, you know, it's not, you don't hear any engine noise, so someone come up here and it like takes off, you know. You've got your mode selector here, so 2, 3, and 4, 1 being the least power, 4 being the most power. So we're going to start off with 1. Full battery here, it's got 132 miles on it so far. Low beam, high beam. I'm going to go low beam just because, oh my gosh, I want to put it in the gear so bad. So this is something else, man, and you can adjust the maps on the fly, so you can go into second map, third map. Let's talk about what's the difference between this is in between a regular motorcycle and an electric motorcycle. So no clutch, no gear selector, no engine noise. You do have a front brake lever, you have a rear brake lever, and that's about it. That's about all that's similar. The only difference is when you run out of charge, as to opposed to running out of gas. You know, you've got 6 hours of charging time as opposed to 90 seconds of putting in gas and, you know, maybe getting a Monster or something like that. So that is the only downfall. Oh man, woo! This thing will go. And normally when I power out of a wheelie or something, I want to shift, but there's no clutch and there's no shift lever, and it's crazy. But one thing in the automotive industry is we all talk about torque and horsepower, right? Torque makes the smiles, horsepower makes the top speed, if you will. And man, that's why I love mini bikes so much, is you can get a lot of torque down low, you can have a lot of fun in the mid-range and stuff like that. But with this thing, good night. And this thing is, I think it's under 300 pounds. I want to say it weighs about 2 something, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, the bike makes, I think it is under 50 horsepower, I believe. I think that's what it is. Uh-oh, there's a funeral going on. Sorry. Good thing I'm on this quiet, that's another thing. Good thing I'm on this quiet motorcycle. I'm being very, very law-abiding, if you will. Not breaking any laws, per se. Oh, the engine braking is super hard. And that's one thing right off the bat I noticed when I hopped on this bike is the throttle. It's not like there's no words I can put into about how, and then the handling, just going through that corner, it has Pirelli Rosso 2s, I believe it is, on it. And it's some pretty sticky tires. Oh. The WP suspension works pretty good. Like, I hit those bumps and it was rough, but the suspension, you know, is soft like a Supermoto, you know? I feel like I need to be more up on the... I can't even say tank because it doesn't have a gas tank. Oh my god. I need to be more up on the battery. Oh, but, you know, we talk about engine braking and this thing that's non-relevant that doesn't have an engine. I guess it's motor braking. I don't even know what to call it. Electrical engine braking. It dives pretty hard because, you know, with a throttle, there is some play. There is some, I guess you could say, you can feel the cable grabbing and catching and stuff like that. With this, there's no cable. It's all electronic, correct? No throttle cable, less working components. I don't even know how it's, you know, what the resistor is in it, but it's so tight, you know, it's more crisp, it's more fine-tuned, you know. Oh my gosh. This bike comes in around a price point of about, from my understanding, and this is subject to change and or list the price on the video right here, is roughly around 14 grand, I think, 15 grand, somewhere around there. So real quick, 58. Let's get it up to speed. The top speed on the Alta SM Redshift is 83 miles an hour. And I just let off the gas, or golly, I can't call it gas. I let off the throttle and all of the motor braking was applied to that portion there. So it's very strong. And I have a feeling you could map that into where... So here's the question. Would I buy this? Absolutely. I want to buy it, but it's so expensive though that I couldn't justify the actual... I can't... It's hard to explain because if I'm going to spend, you know, close to $15,000, if I'm going to spend 15 grand, I want something I can ride all day and put gas in and go, you know? If this thing had a charge of all day, oh, by all means. But the way this thing handles, how nimble it is, because the weight's so low, it's actually, like I said, the weight's very lowered and centered, so the performance and the flickability is par none. You know, the taking off is great because you don't have to worry about a clutch or any of that jazz. It's just, like, it's a great commuter bike. Let's see what it does in second. You can tell it tones the power down a little bit. So 3, and then in 4, oh gosh, oh, it's like night and day difference from 3 to 4. It's absolutely insane. I was kind of optimistic when these first came out. I thought, oh, electric dirt bike, electric Supermoto, that's cool, you know, whatever. But after riding it, you guys really have to get get on one of these and try it for yourself. So that was a first ride on the 2017 Alta Supermoto from RGR Motorsports. Come check them out. Come buy this bike, come demo this bike, because man, there is nothing else like it. So big thanks to them for letting me come out and ride the Alta and experience what electrical motorcycle riding is all about, because this thing is nuts. This thing is insane, and I recommend you guys look at Alta's website. Look at, God, this, it's a tall bike. When you sit on it, it squats down pretty good. Another cool factor is this subframe is all plastic. Like, that helps cut down on the weight too. Is it worth the money? Depends on what you're using it for. I don't know. That's for you to decide. But you do need to ride one. So head over here, get on this bike. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.